So this morning we have a presentation from Homebase. They are the company that helped us develop our strategic plan, and we had engaged them to help kind of do a mid-year or a midterm, I guess, evaluation to see how we're doing and what's happening. So thank you, Bridget and Michelle, for joining us this morning, and I'll let you girls take it away.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Hi, nice to be here. I'm Michelle Burns with Homebase, and thanks for introducing us. Excuse me, Bridget. Thank you, Val. Bridget, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Bridget Kurt-Young. I was part of the strategic planning process y'all did a couple of years ago and then got to come back and see how it's going. So it's just lovely to see some familiar faces.
Great. Can you all see my slides now? Okay, great.
Yes.
Great. Well, good morning. Thank you, everyone. So nice to be here. So this is who we are. And we are here again with Homebase. And this is what we'd like to talk about today. We want to provide some additional information with you all about how we came to develop this mid plan. So again, it's the kind of halfway point with the strategic plan and what some of the progress has been, the accomplishments, and also some areas of opportunity and some priorities for the next 3 years. This is how we went about developing the plan. So we used quantitative data. We gathered input from the Lived Experience Advisory Board, from the COC board, the strategy board, as well as staff. And then we also had several focus groups with people with lived experience. I'm going to turn it over to Bridget to talk a little bit about progress.
I mean, overall, you have made tremendous strides in the 3 years since the plan started in 2022. I hope you all feel that, and we're going to point out some things that might remind you of all the things that have changed in the past couple of years. But it's just incredible work, and I hope you all can pat yourselves on the back and celebrate what you've been able to do. I've led dozens of plans at this point in my career. And so often people get caught, especially when you're launching the backbone organization at the same time. Communities get caught up on how to do that and the funding and the staffing and all of that. And it takes 2 years before they've done anything. And you all in 3 years have made big changes in how your system works. You had tremendous resources available locally in 2021 when we were doing the planning process, but it didn't seem to be working as a system. And I think that was really clear for me in the focus groups. I was in the focus groups then, I was in the focus groups this time, and the conversation, there weren't quotes that we could pull out and put in the report that would really tell the story. But what people were talking about last time was, I don't know, I found somebody that could help me, but I need these other things. And I just very felt like the people we were talking to were alone. Like they were just trying to figure out their next thing and they were just fighting through. And the conversation this time was much more like, yeah, I know where to get that. I know how to do that. It's just a long line. Even things like I had to wait in a long line for coffee this morning. Of course, it's hard. It's always so hard to be homeless. But the folks in the rooms that we talked to knew what the system was. And so it's just a really, I think you've made a lot of progress in making, supporting people who are ending homeless. And the numbers definitely show that too. Actually, let's just go to the next slide. Um, some, oh, nope, I didn't know we were going to do that first. I did know that, but I forgot. So maybe just take a second in the chat or for yourself, or if you want to come off mute and think about over the past 3 years, what makes you proud or grateful in the work that you all have done over the past couple of years.
I'm extremely grateful for the increase in community support, because about 4 years ago, there was a lot less buy-in than there is now. And I'm extremely grateful for folks buying in and leaning into it.
100%.
And as an outsider looking in, to all the people that do the work. I have seen such strides and forward moving and how things are working that it makes me as a member of the public feel good.
Beautiful. So it definitely feels like you're all are pulling the same direction in a way before, or as if everyone felt like they were pulling their own sled in those first conversations. And that's, I think, a really important effort. And I think it makes you, I'm sure there's lots of communities that would look at what you've got right now and be very jealous. So let's go to the next slide, Michelle.
Just real quickly, just by the sheer number of people that are on this call, I think speaks a lot too. So there is a lot of interest and people are paying attention. So I think that's pretty incredible.
I do too. And it's part of, you'll see, part of this conversation is saying, oh, and here's some places to improve. Like our job is to look for ways we can help communities serve people who are homeless better. So I don't usually start with, oh, it's just amazing. And it's really fun to be able to do it once in a while. So thanks to y'all. Some of the numbers that really jumped out at us was a 41% increase in the annual number of households placed in housing across a 3-year period. That's an incredible change. Your percentage of people who get housed compared to the system isn't that different. I think it actually maybe went down 1 or 2%, but you're increased the total number of people you serve get into housing by that much. You had a 50% decrease in unsheltered homelessness from 24 to 25. And a 9% return to homelessness after being housed points to a really strong system that people are being placed in resources that meet their needs. That's fantastic. In addition, the doubling of emergency shelter capacity, a 500% increase in state and federal funding because you knew what to ask for and how to ask for it. And you had the people to do that work. A 31% increase in just people served. Like you're identifying a lot of the conversations in 21 were about outreach and who's on the streets and how are we reaching them and all those places, like you're identifying them. They're in HMIS, and then you're moving them to housing. So just lots and some really great resources, the Street Outreach Task Group, the Flexible Housing Pool, the Landlord Mitigation Fund, lots of great resources that you've developed. And Ron, over to you, Michelle.
Great. So we're going to give you a little bit more information about the progress that's been made on each of the 4 strategies. So again, we're looking at what was originally in the plan and kind of what the progress has been to this point. This shows a little bit about how we framed it in the report, how we're going to be talking about it today. And Bridget's already talked about some of the key accomplishments, but I just want to highlight here, if you can see my cursor, the progress on the high priority action steps. So there, oh, sorry, my just had a technology issue and I don't know, can you all still see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, now I can't see it, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to actually ask for a pause, and I'm going to just try to find if I'm going to go off camera for 2 seconds. Or Bridget, would you actually be able to share? Okay.
Oh, maybe.
And I am happy to keep talking. I know what I want to talk about, but I'm sorry I'm not able to see my screen anymore to see the slides. Terrific. Thank you.
Okay,
Great.
there we go.
So again, there were 6 high priority action steps. So this was the thing that the community really came together and said, we need to do these things. These are the most important things of all of the action steps. And of those, in the first 3 years, half of them, 3 of them were really fully accomplished, which again, very remarkable. 2 of them had significant progress. And then there's 1 that has even had some progress. So on all of the high priority action steps, we've seen progress. That's really significant. And I think you all should feel really proud about that. What we did is we looked at, to kind of give you a sense of where things are, we color coded them. So green was like, you got this. You've accomplished it. You've made such significant progress. The yellow is like moving in the right direction, definitely some progress. And then red is in the preliminary stages. So there's maybe been some conversations and thinking about it, but You're not like seeing it on the ground as much. Okay, great. And then we also talk about our priorities moving forward, and we'll get to that actually at the end. So those are some of the things that we're going to be highlighting later. Okay, great. So this is the first strategy. This is kind of like the thing that you all really identified as the most need, which is makes all the sense in the world, which is creating more housing. And there was a lot of progress made here. So there was a housing task force that was created. 765 housing opportunities were, that was kind of what the key, what the goal was to develop 765 housing opportunities. Also to build more capacity and then to make sure that projects are really fully funded and sustainably funded. So what we've seen is that there's been really, sorry, we've seen the Mason, actually, can you do the next slide? What we've seen is that there's been a number of, a lot of progress made in this. So the Park Avenue residences have opened, the Mason Street apartments have opened. There's been a lot of investment made in terms of working with landlords, recruiting landlords, supporting landlords, through having a housing navigator, and then also this landlord risk mitigation fund, which again really helps to support landlords to be open to continuing to work with you all and to rent to people who have been experiencing homelessness. Next slide, please. Looking ahead, again, talking about areas of opportunity, we see that, of course, despite the progress, there's still many more people that are entering homelessness for the first time. So there's, and this is true nationally, there's just a lot more of this inflow. And so as of November, there's nearly 900 households that are in need of housing. And right now, 93% of permanent supportive housing units are occupied. So basically what we're seeing is that the inventory is not keeping pace with demand, which is why we really recommend continuing to strengthen the housing task force to really understand the housing inventory. So that was kind of a piece that still feels a little bit, not as much details as I think people would like to know, is like, what is the housing inventory? What is available? What is not available? Let's go to the next. Okay, so this is just a moment for you to kind of think yourself. You don't have to do anything, come off mute or whatever, but just to think about your own area of influence, professionally and personally, with the overall COC's area of influence, and to think about what is a potential next step that you could take, that your organization could take around this first strategy of creating more housing opportunities. And then also think to whether there's a partner that you could work with to help implement this. So I'm gonna pause there for a moment, let you do that.
I'm gonna keep filling up space a little bit on this. I think this points to this last question, the potential partner to implement it, points to kind of my overall take of your community is that within your homeless system, you have made remarkable changes. I think Heartland House should get a round of applause for all of their work for staffing up all the places there, and then all of you for the different, being able to make the changes and accept new funding and make those programs work. And I think where there's still gaps is support from the broader community and alignment with other systems of care. So that's the potential partner. Now, I think the next couple of years are about bringing more partners to the table. And some of you are already in the room, but in order to make the progress, are there some other folks who could be engaged? And just to note, making the progress you have made on housing in 3 years is really incredible. The 765 in 5 years is a worthwhile goal. What's necessary, but it would have been very, very difficult to meet. So I think you're doing this is one where you got more yellows, but it's because it's the hardest goal, I think.
Great. Go to the next slide, Bridget.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, any questions on strategy one? I'll just give that moment. Okay. So strategy 2 was about improving the homeless system. And as I just foreshadowed, you've made incredible progress on this. There was a lot of focus in the planning on unsheltered folks. And You've created by-name lists and outreach teams and pieces there. You've done a lot for diversion and crisis housing with emergency shelter that can house folks, a broader variety of folks, and then supports to increase housing stability. You've also made a lot of the community standards for housing and services. I think there's one or two more housing types that don't have those yet. So as a result, you've got 94% housing retention, which is a great number. 14% of your exits from shelter go to permanent housing, which is, I think you all can appreciate what an amazing number that is. 57% increase in the number of people served directly from the street. And that 37% of people went from street outreach directly to permanent housing is also just great work. So where we're seeing an area of opportunity is the inflow. And so looking at some low barrier practices in crisis housing, that's true, but it's like maybe a little bit further what we heard in focus groups where people feeling like they didn't have the support they needed. And so things you'll see later, we're going to talk about mental health resources. I think that's a big link. Potentially expanding the shelter options for families, increasing just the number of case managers to do the housing supports and the removal of barriers to housing, and then support for them to understand how to do their job better. I think turnover is a big challenge in many communities, and people not having the resources to be successful. And so some support there. A little bit more on housing assessments. People are getting assessed in shelter, we heard, but then there's this pause. And so is there a way we can move forward and getting people linked to housing a little faster, and improving diversion and housing problem solving at that level? So those are some of our ideas. And these are proposals, things you might take up as next steps in order to move forward in your goals. So again, take a second. Is there something you could do? Do you have a relationship with someone who does trauma-informed training that you could help set up? Or anything those ways, what the HCoC could do, and if there's partners that might support some of these next steps.
I'm also seeing in the chat really the importance. This is kind of going back to the first one about doing an in-depth housing market study, which I think is really important. And then also wish for some positive local media coverage. That was definitely, that's going to tie into something we're going to talk about in a moment as well.
Any comments or like feedback, disagreements, questions on strategy 2? Back to you, Michelle.
Great, thanks. So the next one is really focused on coordinating with other systems of care to address homelessness. So this includes the healthcare system, the criminal legal system, employment partners. And you'll see on these slides, there are many, many steps. There's a very ambitious strategy, but you'll also see from the green and yellow that there was a lot that was accomplished. And I also saw in the chat earlier when people were reflecting on what they're proud of, part of it was the coordination and the increased collaboration between systems, which is great. So you can go to the next slide. Bridget, great. Yeah, just so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. And then you can go to the next one. Right. So in terms of some of the key accomplishments, there have been 10 units of bridge housing that have been developed, a medical respite program, and also the agencies, again, are working more closely together, not so much in silos. There's now, again, this is also just like thinking about the infrastructure. Again, Heartland House did not exist. There's now this entire infrastructure. There's, as Bridget was saying at the beginning, it's not so much where is the system now, it's like how can we continue to work together? If you can go to the next slide. Looking ahead, what we really recommend is continuing to strengthen those cross-sector partnerships, especially in the areas of mental health, criminal legal system partnerships, and employment. So really continuing to build on efforts that are already underway, such as supporting the street medicine program, and also really considering hiring a workforce navigator to support people in being connected to employment. Next slide, please. Same thing. If you want to just reflect for a moment, think about in terms of collaboration, coordination, if there's areas that you think should be focused on. Mhm. Yep, I appreciate the comment in the chat from Austin. Yes, there's progress being made, and teamwork makes the dream work. I love it. Okay, Bridget, back to you.
Okay. The fourth strategy was really about creating the system, the infrastructure to do all of this work. So creating the strategy board, creating Heartland House and increased system staffing, expanding funding for all the resources that you are doing, improving data collection and reporting, and a lived experience advisory board. So you've made progress on all of those. You've also done a lot with two-way community communication strategies. I think the app that where community members can say, I see somebody who needs help, has come up in many communities. So congratulations on that. But still, there could be some more back and forth in responding to community concerns to help the community understand just all the amazing work that you're doing and how they can support it. I said all of these things already, but you've done a lot of work on these places. Um, it's in a very different place than it was, and I think the places you can continue is that two-way communication strategy with the various partners about what our needs, what what they see, what you see, and continuing that openness. And then it was a big focus back in the planning about working with neighborhood associations so they could see their supports and they're challenging. And so maybe it's worthwhile to continue to work with neighborhood associations and support improving the community overall. So thinking about that a little bit. All right, we are about to switch into kind of our overall what we would recommend for the next couple of years. Does anyone have any responses, feedback, disagreements, anything at all with what we've said so far that you'd like to bring up as we kind of go into that next section? Can't see everybody's face because there's so many of you. So I'm going to trust that you'll say it out loud or put in the chat. Okay, thank you, Helping Hands. So overall, if we were to say, here's what we think you should do. Well, that's what we're doing. Is the coordination with other systems of care feels like the big step. Of course, continuing to create housing, right? And sometimes it's creating housing units or other things that support housing stability. But the coordination with other systems of care, access to employment, access to mental health, that was certainly what we heard most, or other healthcare, we heard most in the focus groups we were in. A lot of people had been to the doctor in the past couple of weeks, which is great, but still felt like they weren't getting the resources they needed, or that people who are in shelter need a higher level of care, healthcare wise, than they're able to get. So those different coordinations can really support, because homelessness is some other systems have failed. Sometimes it's the housing system, sometimes it's the veteran supports, all of those pieces. And so building those can decrease inflow into the system and support exit from the system as well. The second was the housing. The third was supporting provider capacity, and we mean numbers of case managers and just support for the staff that are doing the really hard work on the front lines. And that might mean higher pay, that might mean more training, that might mean just additional support for the folks doing this work. To avoid burnout and to help people continue to do the hard stuff they do every day. And then continued community communication and support is our kind of last big category of what we think should be a priority going forward. What do you all think? I just saw this link. I'm looking forward to looking at it. But what do you all think? Did we get it? Do we understand what's happening for you all? What do you think of our priorities? Are those the right ones?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen a lot of clients that were in need of jobs, and I have looked at so many job titles with so many people and been pretty disappointed at just how often it goes nowhere. So I do think that would be amazing to start seeing a lot more of employers recognizing what skills our clients bring to the table. Uh, there's a certain amount of toughness that comes with being homeless that certainly could be transferred into job skills. So I'm always encouraging our clients to think in terms of what you do bring to the table rather than counting themselves out. Um, I love that you're thinking in terms of supporting case managers. It is a really, it can be emotionally taxing, the work we do. So any and all supports. To make the job easier to keep coming to each day, to know that our own families have the resources that they need. That's a big step.
Thanks, Bonnie.
I really appreciate just seeing the plan in black and white or blue and white. And I've looked over it several times and it's just so encouraging. And I've shared it with several people here in my office and just in conversations you have in general with people that are, those people on the corner that are homeless, blah, blah, blah. And it's just been nice to have it in black and white and be able to say, you know what, though? We have done so much. You can't see it, but it's being done. Just the thing that shocks me is that 724 people a month are calling in to the housing helpline. Not that they're all being housed, but there's that many people that are seeking help, but know how and know where. And, that I think that's just a huge change. I appreciate all that you guys have done to put this out for us.
It was a definite pleasure. It's going to be my favorite project all year for sure. It was so fun. And we tried to do it format the document so you could use a page at a time so hopefully it can be useful when you go to talk to somebody about something, to give a viewpoint of where things at this point.
All right, anyone else?
All right.
Just want to say thanks from our team to Bridget and Michelle, going back to the original strategic plan and, the way that that's helped guide our strategy board, and our board of directors. It's a document that's extremely usable and one that it's been fun to watch those groups really say, like, this is our guide. We're going to stick to this, in every way that it makes sense and keep pushing forward. So the work that y'all did to guide us through that, that almost 18-month process, I think is a key part of the transformation that's happened in this community. So we're just want to express our gratitude to both of you and the rest of the team of Homebase that we've gotten the chance to work with at various times too.
Thank you so much.
To come back. It's so good to see you all and all your great work. And congratulations to Heartland House for big changes in a couple of years. So thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. We really have enjoyed it. It's been wonderful. And, to follow up just a little bit on what Josh said, the thing that I am so proud of, I've served on so many boards and I've said this before, not everybody follows that strategic plan. It sits on the shelf. It collects a lot of dust, but this is a plan that's workable, doable, and I commend the staff But you know, we use it as in the strategy. It's a touch point. It's a critical piece of our development and how we move forward. So we appreciate this update and, you know, knowing the places that you see we need to work because of your experience. And that's so important to us. So I really, really appreciate that. All right, thank you. If nobody has any other questions, it's good seeing you, Bridget, Michelle, again, and wish you much luck. And I'm going to challenge the rest of the team. You said this was your best for the year. I think we need to keep making it the best every year, Bridget. So,
Thanks, everyone.
okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Okay, we also have another presentation this morning with Laura Meredith's going to talk to us about senior services. Is Laura?
I'm here. I had to find the mute
Oh,
button.
there you are.
Good morning. So this is the first meeting that I've attended, and wow, what a meeting. You guys are doing awesome work. I love to hear it. Our agency has been on these calls before. However, this is the first time I've been on. So amazing work. And just like our agency, it takes a community, it takes a village to raise these people, our agency, Senior Services of Central Illinois, is a not-for-profit agency here in Springfield. We actually cover Sangamon, Logan, Mason, and Menard County. Our agency, the goal of all of our programs is to keep seniors in their homes as long as possible. So once you all do the great work that you're doing with the assistance that our agency can offer, hopefully we can keep them there as long as possible. Our goal is, to promote independence, to provide non-medical services so that they can stay in their homes as long as possible. Some of the programs that we have, the first one and one of our biggest programs is the Community Care Program. This program offers services for seniors 60 and over who need assistance in their home with homemaking services, somebody to come in and help them cook and clean, do laundry, maybe transportation to doctor's appointments, and medication reminders. Just doing those day-to-day things that we all may take for granted, being able to do the laundry, clean the bathtub, get to the grocery store to get their groceries, even from the thought process of not being able to stand up at the stove to cook, having trouble standing for a long period of time. Those services are an excellent help to be able to help someone in that area. The community care program goes out and does assessments on individuals and determines how many hours of service that they would be eligible for. And then we send that assessment to different providers here in the community. And they send out homemakers, individuals who come there to do those services with them. One of the other programs that we have, information and assistance, they do a lot of help with individuals in the community who might need assistance with Medicare, Medicaid, with the benefit access application. So if you have an individual who maybe needs that license plate discount or an individual who needs the bus pass, our agency can assist those individuals getting that access to transportation. Recently, this same department has begun setting up office hours. So we are actually going to some of the high-rise buildings here in town, and we are meeting with individuals that live there in the community. So maybe they don't have transportation. We're taking those services right to them, right to their building. Offering any community resources that were available and letting individuals know that we are there for them and for their services. And we usually do that one afternoon a month at each of these different high-rise buildings. And it's just another way that we can let people know of the services that are available to them. Everything doesn't have to be done right there, but we will definitely follow up and follow through with individuals in those buildings that are needing assistance. Our agency has a transportation program. This program transports individuals 60 and over, and then also individuals 18 to 59 with a disability. It's a $2.50 fee for transportation for one way. They transport between 7:30 and 4:30 daily, and then they also need reservations for those transportation rides. So they can call our agency and we can get that set up for them. We also have a nutrition program, a couple different options in the nutrition area. We have our daily bread program, which is a congregate site. So we have 7 different congregate sites over Sangamon and Menard County. And then we also have home delivered meals. So for individuals who are homebound and not able to get out in the community, we have volunteers that come in and deliver meals to those individuals. Some days those volunteers are the only face that a senior may see. And so it's not just delivering a meal, but it's just delivering a little bit of hope and a smile to those individuals as well. Those meals are a $5 donation. We do have a congregate site here in Sangamon County. So the senior center on the corner of Walnut and Mason is our congregate site. And we have all kinds of different activities and things that go on aside from the meal. Just being able to have seniors get out and about and socialize with other individuals is a great key thing in addition to the nutrition in the meal. We also have Springfield Specialty Meals on Wheels. Those meals are diet specific, diet friendly meals. Maybe if somebody has been in the hospital and they need a renal diet or they're very strict diabetic, the nutrition meals are made at the hospital and then again delivered by volunteers. And there are fees for those. Oftentimes, individuals' insurance company may be able to assist with that fee. At the Senior Center here in Springfield, we have all kinds of activities. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and individuals can come in, hang out, have coffee, socialize, play cards, read the newspaper. We have pool tables, exercise equipment, all kinds of different activities. We do have an exercise class every day. We play bingo a couple days a week there in our dining room. We have Tai Chi classes. We do blood pressure and glucose screenings a couple times a month. We have Land of Lincoln Legal Aid. They come and do visits and can meet with individuals who are needing some legal assistance. We just recently started with the library, and the bookmobile is coming to our office. We have all kinds of holiday parties and different things that are going on, art classes. A couple upcoming events that are, I want to make sure you all know about. The senior celebration is May 20th. That event is at the Orr Building. And this is all kinds of community partners who work with the senior population, and they come and set up. We kind of joke that it's somewhat of a senior trick-or-treating event because, those individuals come and they love their free stuff, whether it's ink pens or candy or whatever else you may be giving away. And so they come, they get the information about the services and the programs that are out and about in our community, and it's just a great event for the seniors to gather that information. So that's May 20th at the Orr Building. If you're interested in having a table and being there as a vendor, you can reach out to Barb with our agency, and she would be happy to get you some information. And then also our Boots and Bow Ties is our annual fundraiser, and it is in October. And this year we will have Lick Creek at the venue there at Motorheads. And it's a great event to come out and see all the work that our agency has been doing throughout the year and being able to support the senior population here in the community. Are there any questions about anything that I've said or any
Can you remind us of what geographic area you cover, and does the transportation cover all the areas that you?
Our agency covers Sangamon, Logan, Mason, and Menard County. Our transportation is just Springfield area.
Okay.
Yes. We do go out to some of the smaller towns outside of Springfield, so Chatham, Sherman, Rochester, Riverton, those areas. They do go to those places specific days of the week.
What time is the celebration thing on May 20th?
I think it's 9 to 1.
Okay.
Yeah, all of that details can be found on our website, centralillinoisseniors.org.
You put that in the chat for us, or anybody that we need to contact? Any contact information would be great.
Yes. If anybody has anybody in need of resources, we are always happy to help. If you have questions, we are a no wrong door agency. So, we want to make sure that whoever is calling us for services has the correct information. We're not trying to send anybody on a wild goose chase. So.
Thanks, Laura. Does anybody else have any additional questions for Laura? Well, thank you for joining us today, Laura. We hope to see you again.
Great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
At some time. And she's put her information in the chat for anybody that's interested. All right, thank you. Do we have any agency updates or community updates of any sort? Jump in, anybody?
Our staff meeting yesterday, it was shared. We had 30 people moved in the last quarter, 30 new people housed in the last quarter.
That's great. That's a celebration right
Isn't that
there.
fun?
Yeah, absolutely.
Val, we are hosting for the Illinois Housing Development Authority a listening session on June the 16th from 10 to noon, and encourage as many people as would be interested to please register for that. This will be a chance for you to tell them what type of housing you think we need in this community. They'll be going statewide and divvying up their funds that way. So the more we can get in their ear, the better we'll be.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Hi, Val, if I may, 2 minutes. This is Galia with Springfield Memorial Hospital. Some folks I've already mentioned in other meetings, but Springfield Memorial Hospital just hired a certified recovery support specialist that is stationed in the emergency department. Ari will be able to do warm handoffs, and just her lift experience will allow her to connect with folks that are coming to the emergency room, presenting with a substance use disorder. And we're just very, very happy that this is happening. And obviously she'll be a great resource. So if anybody would like to connect with her, holler at me, and then I'll be able to connect you with Ari. Thank you.
Oh, God, that is amazing. I'm thrilled to hear that. Fantastic.
Austin Dombacher with Sangamon County, Rosk here. Not so much an update or anything. I just want to give major kudos to everyone on this call. I know the work that we do is absolutely exhausting and mentally, emotionally, physically draining. I have always said that Springfield and Sangamon County have amazing people working for amazing organizations doing amazing work. And that presentation, I think, in the first half of this meeting just went to show that, sometimes it's not so easy to see how much progress we have made because we are in the trenches daily,
Yeah.
So I just want to thank everyone on here for doing the work that you all do. And like I said in the chat, teamwork makes the dream work. And I think that, I might be a little biased, but I think we have a pretty good thing going on here in Springfield.
Well, I think we all agree with that, Austin. Thank you for bringing that up, though. Appreciate it.
Hey Val, I do have an update. We are in the process of the 100-day challenge with the Reed Institute. So if there is an agency that is doing homelessness prevention, please join our meetings. We meet every Tuesday at Salvation Army at 11. But if you do come in contact with anybody that may need services, please send them to the helpline so me and Molly can assist the best we can.
All right, thank you. And how far into the 100-day challenge are you?
Our midpoint will be April 27th, so we're halfway
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Talk about your goal.
Our goal is to help 75 households, and right now, currently, we're at about 40. So I feel like we will go over our goal by the 100
You
days.
are. That's amazing. Thank you so much for reporting that. Anyone else?
I got
Heartland,
something
how's
there.
there you go.
I'm excited about a bill that just passed the House and the legislature that's headed to the governor's desk. It's a junk fee bill, meaning that landlords will no longer be able to charge move-in fees. It has to be a deposit that is then refundable if it is yours at the time of moving, because a lot of our landlords in the community and the state around have started changing this into this wonderful income method of calling it a move-in fee. So now that is not acceptable, and it will be signed into law January 1st of 2027. So we took 2 years working on that behind the scenes as well as some of the legislators. So we're really proud to see that moving forward.
Absolutely.
We don't want to monopolize too much too, but do want to let folks know that at our June meeting, we'll be presenting on the youth homelessness needs assessment that we've recently completed. The Youth Homelessness Task Group has been working on some action steps and some next steps there. So we'll be presenting that in 2 months. If anybody is not aware of the Youth Homelessness Task Group and would like to be plugged in, let Jamie and I know. We'd love to get you involved in that.
Don't want to cut anybody off, but I had recognized earlier that I skipped right past the minutes. So I'm going to have to go back to that, but I don't want to interrupt if somebody has another update they want to give.
I'm here at the Washington Street Mission. My name is Amanda. I am back here at the mission. And then we also have a new case manager, Adam, here to help everybody with their housing needs and resources. So that's exciting news. And yesterday we had a coordinated entry push. Me and Renetta tag team. We got 9 coordinated entries done yesterday. People who've been on the street for 15, 16 months, we were able to tackle.
Amazing, Amanda. Thank you. And welcome, Nick. Nick, you said, was that right? Did I get that right? Adam. Nick, Adam. Okay, so close. Four letters. I'm okay. Welcome. All right. If there's no other updates, we'll go back to the minutes that I skipped right past. I was excited to get going on these presentations. So your minutes were included with the email. Are there any additions or corrections? All right, hearing none, the minutes will stand as presented. Anything else? Josh, you have anything additionally to We had a great ribbon cutting. I know a couple people mentioned it for our Mason Street apartments. We had a great turnout. Got the keys ready to move in, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, people will start moving in here very soon. So, nothing really to add. I always want to, there's a lot of content early in the meeting, but really the progress that has happened in this community, and those that are on this meeting, the case managers, the service providers, without the work that you all are doing, and all of it working together, and whether it's 9 CEs in the Washington Street Mission or 30 people in a quarter moving, I mean, that's all incredible work that's deeply connected, right? Those coordinated entry assessments are eventually going to be housing referrals, and so just really grateful for all the partners that make all that. I know Austin kind of hit on it, but I just want to emphasize that too. That very very grateful for each of you that contribute to this work.
Absolutely. All right, our next meeting will be June 18th at 9 a.m. And I'm hoping that we're going to meet on the 2026, not 2025. We don't want to go back. The agenda says 2025.
AI just yet, like we might be able to pull that off.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I was gonna say, we can't stay on. Thank you, Tammy. All right, we'll see you all on June 18th. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.